and welcome back to, welcome to 2023. That is just crazy. So I hope you're all doing well, staying warm, and getting a lot of stitching done. I have not gotten a lot of stitching done this past week, but a lot of progress has been made. If you did not see my end of year, sort of a year in review, you've missed a lot. And so if you want to go see it, I'm going to put the link up maybe over there. I'm not sure which way it's going to show up, but check that video out for probably even more detailed information about what's going on. But there's a lot of changes, not changes, additions that are coming to this business, and as well as the designs and everything else like that. I need to figure out exactly how I want to present this to you guys. But first of all, I'm going to start by saying that I have decided to actually not attend Nashville Market this year. I greatly enjoyed my time there last year, but this year I feel like I just hadn't, I don't have like the, I'm not even sure how to explain it, but let's just say that I don't feel like I would be very successful there this year. And the amount of time that it takes to put together everything, to go to Nashville, the pre-stuff, the post stuff, and even just the stuff that I go, throughout the year. I mean, I've been stitching like crazy on stuff, trying to get stuff finished, and got everything framed and everything. But, it really impacts how much one enjoyment that I get out of this hobby that we all love, cross stitching. It just doesn't leave me with a lot of time to just sit back and just kind of enjoy what I'm doing, because I'm just always just going. And two, it really limits what, creativity for the, design aspect of it. At least for me, it does. I think in some ways I'm just not, you could call me not ready for prime time, or don't feel like I'm as ready for prime time as maybe I want to be. So, speaking of which, I had, you guys know if you watched the video, but I've had a couple of conversations with Ronnie Rowe of Ronnie Rowe Designs in the last 7 to 10 days or so. And, kind of, we talked a lot about how I was feeling about things. And so he was brainstorming and throwing out ideas and whatnot. And in the end, he showed me sort of his history of doing the miniatures that he used to do, where he would have some of his patterns, but he'd make these really small versions of some things. And in fact, he just did a video that came out, I think last night, that goes into more detail about that. But he just was very encouraging and very informative to me about maybe kind of adding something else to my lines. I have a lot of great patterns. I know I do. I love what I'm doing. I love the big monochromes. I love the big patterns all overall together. You guys can see that. But, I'm like, I need something else. Like, I want to develop a well-rounded, like, you can come to Stitching Jewels Design and get almost anything that you would want. So I just keep getting bigger and bigger. But the reality is I'm getting smaller and smaller, because I've started a new line of cross-stitch designs that will not directly compete, but more complement everything that else is out there right now. I'm calling it the miniature line, or the miniature pattern line. I haven't come up with a really good name for it yet. But these are designs that are much smaller than the originals, and that are much faster to stitch. Now, they don't have maybe quite as much detail. You can't expect that when you're bringing a design down. But my hope is that within I hope a relatively short time, meaning the next couple of months, the patterns of mine that I can shrink, I will put them out as miniatures. So if you really liked, the three dancers, I have a miniature version of that on Etsy and the website right now, or the owl couple at night. There's some fun favorites already from people who have checked it out and kind of seen what's there. But so miniatures, that's the only thing I've really been working on this past week. I didn't work on the monochrome owl anymore. I kind of just took a step back, and I was like, if I'm going to make this kind of key pivot in the business. And it's not a full pivot, it's just a slight adjustment. By not going to Nashville allows me to really focus on this new line, to get a bunch more patterns out, and to figure out how to market and do all that other stuff. And I've had some really great help so far, some suggestions and some offers of help for the marketing side of things. So, we're getting there. We're getting there, and I'm feeling really positive. I'm feeling really excited about it. So, all right. So let me show you. The only stitching I really have done this week is on the miniature pattern of the owl couple at night. And I want to show you kind of what I've done. I've only done this much, right? This is 18 count fabric. This is just some old fabric that I had that I've cut down. So it doesn't, the edges look pretty bad. So I've got to get those looking better. But I just want to show you guys like what I've done. And you can tell, let's see, I've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, I've gotten like 4 1/4 across there, and maybe like almost 4 down, right? So I can't find, I had printed out the picture of that, and now I'm like, I don't know where it's at. Of course, I'm so organized. But anyway, I wanted to show you where I was at on Pattern Keeper. So, because it'll give you a better idea of what this is. So this is an 80 by 80 design, and I've stitched 376 stitches so far, but it is almost 6% of the way through. This pattern is only 6,400 stitches. Let's see, how can we get you guys to see this? But can you tell, like, even with just as little as I've done, how far across and down I am? I'm actually already at the midline, across and down there. So looking at something like this, like, it's only gonna be like, it's literally just gonna be like about, well, I don't know, it's gonna be that big, this big. It's gonna be a lot smaller. And so, and it's still gonna look great, and it's still gonna be a Stitching Jewels design that you're gonna love, but it's gonna take you a lot less time if that's what you wish for. I think that a lot of people look at our stuff. I don't know why I keep saying that. Look at my stuff, and they want to stitch it, but they're a little intimidated because some of it's really big. I get that completely, and I struggle like you do with like how long it takes me to finish things. But I wanted to give people who want this experience, but in a smaller version, I want to give them something. So, like I said, there have been 6 patterns out since this weekend. I'm putting another handful of patterns out. There's going to be 3 new patterns that come out before, well, honestly, they'll be out by the time this video is released. So one completely new pattern that you guys haven't seen yet that I'm probably going to introduce in a larger version, but it worked really well in a smaller version. I'm just going to show you guys. It's this little mini anchor. And so the white background is just the absence of any color on the Ada or any fabric. So you can use whatever you want to over top of that. But it's like 80 by 120 with only 16 colors. As you can imagine, I mean, I didn't look to see how many stitches this was, but I'll bet you it's only like maybe, gosh, it's a fraction of what the owl couple is. It's probably like 2,000 stitches or something. It's a pretty fast, I would say it's a pretty fast stitch. And that's kind of part of the excitement of it, is because I do want to stitch some of these and I want to see how fast I can get them stitched up. That would be cool. I also have a miniaturized version of Honoring the Flag, which is the one where I have a bigger version of this one. This is the soldier sort of in this black and white, almost like a special forces soldier, bowing his head before the American flag. The original of this was 145 by 230. That's a decent sized pattern, 33,000 stitches, a little over 33,000 stitches. Now this pattern, the way that it is, it's 145 by 130, no, sorry, 115 by 130, and it's just at like 15,000 stitches, so slightly under half, maybe like 45% of what the other one was, and it still looks great. So if you like Honoring the Flag, but you're like, that's too many stitches, give the mini version a try. And then the one that I'm like really happy that came out really well, because it's one of the most popular patterns that I have on the store, is the vintage American flag. So I took this one, and again, I shrunk it down. I forgot how many colors. I'm gonna say it's like 18 colors, something like that. But originally it was 200 by 130, 26,000 stitches. Not that bad. I actually focused on trying to keep the original one a little smaller, a little bit more manageable for most people. On 18 count fabric, that would be like 11 by 7, like 11.5 by 7.5. But the miniaturized version is now 130 over 60. And these are the mock-ups, the same way that you guys have always seen the mock-ups that I've shown you of all the bigger pictures. This is what it will look like when you finish stitching it and you put it in front of a camera and you look at it. That's what it, you know, because when you're just looking at it, sometimes it's like, you know, yeah, it's great. But when you step back and look at it, you're like, wow, it's great. So now, like I said, it's 130 by 60. It's 7.5 inches stitched this way, 4.5 this way on 18 count fabric, 7,800 stitches, 7,800 stitches. I'm super psyched about that. I think reason why I'm really excited is just because it is going to give people a chance to stitch more. We all want to try and stitch all the things, and when all the things are really, 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 really big, sometimes we can't stitch all the things. But maybe there's a few patterns here and there that, you know, we can squeeze in that are a lot smaller that work just as well. Some other ones that are coming out this week that I don't have far enough along to show you yet. I've got a miniaturized version of a cup of coffee in Africa. I've got a miniaturized version of Sun Worshipper. I've got miniaturized versions of, oh man, I had a couple thoughts in my head that went away, but I'm trying it with everything. The only thing that I haven't found it to work yet with is the monochrome patterns. I know you'd be like, oh, I really want to, you know, let's do the, but it's the technique that it takes to create these. You can't take that and shrink it and still think that you could shrink it. The way you shrink it is by using higher count fabric. That's right now, that's all I can say. And I'm still like madly wanting to stitch those. So I got a lot to do. I got a lot to do and stitch. So I think that's it for now. By next week, I'll have a better idea kind of what I want to do. Well, hopefully by next week, we'll get a lot of the newer patterns up on the wall behind me. We've been a little delayed with that. And, you know, hopefully be further along with some of these mini patterns that you guys will really be able to see what we're doing here. So, so that's where we're going. That's what we're doing. So I'm not going to rule out going to another show later in the year, potentially, or going to Nashville the following year. It's just, it was not really the right thing to do for me right now. So, all right, that's it. I hope you guys are doing great. Does this mean that I will hopefully be able to start doing more Old World Map 2? You bet your bottoms. I hope it means that. And so I'm still kind of getting all my little floss bobbins from Pip and Chip kind of done up and whatnot. Well, I don't have all of them, but I have some of them. And so that's really helping me to be able to keep colors more organized. So, all right, you guys take care. I'm feeling great. This is going to be awesome. I'm really excited to see where this goes. And if you guys have any other suggestions, if there's something else that you want to see as a pattern, if there is a pattern that I make that you're like, man, please miniaturize this like as soon as possible. Or if you have an idea of like other types of cross stitch or other ways to go. Like I said, I'm just trying to expand. I want to expand as much as I can and continue to have good quality. So, but happy stitching to you guys out there. I hope you had a great holiday season, and I hope you're as excited as I am for 2023. And thanks again to Ronnie Rowe. I'm going to have a link to his channel down below. Go check him out. He's a great guy and a great friend. So you guys take care, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.